Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassett, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. They're all big, but we have Steve Miller from Wicomico Recreation Parks and Tourism in the house. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
Now, they say that your department within the county is like the crown jewel. Like all the cool stuff happens in your department. You've got all the great toys. What's it like to do your job and have all this stuff?
It's fantastic. I mean, I love what I do, and I think the people that work in the department love what we do. We're proud of it. We call ourselves, in many ways, the quality of life department. Our mission, why we exist, is to make people's lives better, whether that's a walk in the park or going to a concert or a show or a festival or an event or a kids program. It's fun, and it's fun to make people happy, and that's essentially what we try to do every day.
That's right, you mentioned quality of life, and I remember the story, it's from ancient times, but Ed Urban, when he was with Grumman Corporation, and they were looking where to open a plant, they subscribed to the Salisbury Daily Times for about a year, and they read it every day to find out what the Salisbury community was like and compared to other communities. And one of the things he came back to all the time was the Parks and Rec Department, how much there was to do, how many events there were, the registrations, all the different groups. And that was a deciding factor in their decision to locate Grumman here.
Yeah, Ed's been on our board for many years, and I've heard him beat that drum very loudly.
Yeah.
And he and many of our board members are proponents of that message. But it's true. I mean, when people decide whether to live here or move their business here, I mean, those are the types of things that they're looking at. And we're proud of what we have to offer. For a small county, we think we have a lot to offer, and a lot of very exciting things happening in the county.
Talk about what's going on, some of the stuff you want to tout.
So there's so many different things with events. One of the exciting things that I get to work on very closely is a lot of the facility projects. So we've just wrapped up a 4-year process, or we're in the process of wrapping up improvements at Purdue Stadium. So this past off season, we installed that 360 wraparound deck.
Amazing how much that's added to that place. It really has. But go ahead, sorry.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It creates a different experience. Myself and my boys went out to a game, and we got to stand in left field and talk to the left fielder and interact. And It's just a different perspective on the game. But that's part of many improvements at the stadium that have been fantastic. Pirates Wharf, we're wrapping up the master planning process for that. We've been sitting on that for over 20 years, and now we're actually taking significant steps to making that a regional park, which will be neat.
Yeah, I used to live right there by Pirates Wharf, and I remember when they used to talk about it, I was one of those people that was going to go protest, like don't build this thing. But the plan, that I don't live there especially, but the plan is a really good plan. It's going to be a really cool place to go.
I think it will. It'll be similar to Pemberton Park, except you've got the river,
right,
which will be fantastic. But yeah, I think the feedback we've gotten from the public about the plan, just a low impact.
Right, that's the key, the low impact.
It is, and we heard that loud and clear from the public in the last 2 years as we've been going through the planning processes. People didn't want to overdevelop that property, and we heard that. But what we're going to create is you'll have some water access with a boat ramp, some trails, some lookouts, some fishing opportunities. Nothing super developed, basic infrastructure like parking and a restroom and those types of things. But we're very pleased with the process. We're pleased with, I think, what we're going to get as a final result, and I think the public will really enjoy it as well. So that's exciting. And then,
on the west side of that river, there's no place to put your boat over. There never has been. You had to go down to Tyaskin.
Yeah, and that's one of the appeals of the property, is that it gives you that water access on the Wicomico and down that end of the river. So we're excited about that, and I think our target to open the park is 2021. So it's a process, because it's in the critical areas and there's a lot of permitting and things that need to happen. It's going to be a process, but we're targeting 2021 to open the park, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
We've got the project, what we're calling Project 7.5 at the sports complex, building a mini ball field for kids with disabilities to be able to play baseball and participate.
Now, let's talk about that. Who came up with that idea? It was such a great idea, and it's something I would never think of.
Yeah, so honestly, it started in a conversation with myself and Chris Bitters, the GM of the Delmarva Shorebirds.
Right.
Through these Purdue Stadium projects, we've spent a lot of time together in the last 3 or 4 years and developed a friendship. And we were talking about different ideas in the county and brainstorming. And he actually posed the question. He said, "Have you ever thought of Challenger Little League?" And quite honestly, to that point, I hadn't given that a lot of thought.
What a great idea.
Yeah, it was fantastic because we were thinking about doing something. We have a small space, so we couldn't build a full size field. So we were thinking of some different things, and that's what we were talking about. But when he said it, the light bulb kind of went off, and I started to research Challenger in itself, and then also research just the region and what's available. And I was shocked, honestly, with how little there is out there.
Right.
You've got about 3,000 kids that have special needs in Wicomico, Worcester, Somerset counties. There's nothing like this as far as a facility. I know I've talked to, one of the fun parts about this is through the last 9 months, I've gotten to interact with a lot of families that are affected by this, and just in hearing their stories and the things that they do and want to do for their children, and just there's lack of opportunity. We talked to some last week that said they drive to Annapolis to participate in a Challenger program.
Wow.
So you've got people going to different parts of the state and whatever, or Sussex or Virginia, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have that here for our region, for the Lower Shore. So that's a really exciting project, and I think just in the, we talk about the sports complex as a hub,
Right.
for baseball, softball, and it certainly is that with local stuff and tournaments and all those things. But this is really unique because I think it's going to allow us now to reach a segment of the population that, if I'm being honest, we just haven't done a lot with over the
Right.
years. And I think there's opportunity there. I think it's right that we participate in this way. And we've gotten really fantastic feedback from the 10 Little Leagues in Wicomico, Worcester, Somerset. We've talked to the Board of Education. We've talked to Dove Point and,
Right.
and Special Olympics, all different groups that have really been enthusiastic and rallied behind this. And we're very, very excited about that and the potential that's going to bring.
Well, I was so heartened because my experience with something like that is that there'd be a bunch of people who go, "What? Do we really need that? What is that all about?" But
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Great idea! Let's
Yeah.
do this thing."
Yeah, that's been really, like you said, encouraging.
Yeah.
Just as we've pitched the idea and we've gotten support from the county in terms of funding. We got some state funding that will be lined up for this fall, and then we're going to do a capital campaign for some private donorship, which we'll launch in August. But in every avenue, we've gotten that reaction. Has been very enthusiastic. Why haven't we done this in the past? And what I've told people, it's better late than never on this type of thing.
Right.
I wish we had done it a long time ago, but here we are, and I think we're taking the right steps. And I think, and they do this in other communities. We're not the first, obviously, to do something like this, but I think when you look around the shore, there's just not a lot. And these families, I think, a lot of times don't participate because A, they don't know what's out there, or B, they don't even have the opportunities.
Right.
And I think we're going to try to bridge that gap, and I think it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, the evolution of Henry Parker Complex is just amazing to me. And of course, now it's going to be 100 degrees this weekend.
Right.
You've got all the softball teams are coming into town. You want to talk about that?
Welcome to Delmarva, right? Yeah, we're excited. This is now the 13th year we've hosted the USSSA World Series. So in the last, I think, 7 years, we've been in the 350 to 400 team range, which now is
Unbelievable.
It is, and it's hard. It's hard. I think in the community, you don't want to take that for granted because that's a monster event
Right.
that brings thousands and thousands of hotel rooms, millions of dollars to the region in terms of, people spending the night in hotels and eating out at restaurants and doing what they do. That's a major thing for us. So we actually start today as a check-in day for the first week. It comes in 3 waves, and the kids and their families will be here till August the 3rd. And that it's 100 degrees is not ideal. But we're going to try to take measures at the parks, and USSSA they'll shorten games when the heat gets excessive, and try to make some accommodations. But they still want to try to make the best of it.
And a lot of people have noticed there's a little bit of city involvement, the idea that they're going to parade through downtown.
Yeah, that's exciting. So that's a new, for each week of the event, we do an opening ceremony. So in the past, we've pulled off opening ceremonies at the Civic Center, at the Purdue Stadium, and then in the inlet at Ocean City. And so this year, a new ceremony will be downtown. And we're excited to see how that goes. It'll be a different setting, more of an urban type setting with a parade through downtown and whatnot. So we're hopeful that will go very well. And I think what it does for us is it gives us another venue where we can produce an event like this where, you know, a lot of these kids will come year after year and you don't want to show them the same stuff every single year. We want to continue to make it fresh, and
Right.
and we've gotten good engagement from the city with the event, and that's been very positive, and we're hopeful that it'll be a good event.
And it's so impressive to me, too, how you've worked across the borders with Worcester County to get them involved, because the event has to be a certain size, and we don't have all the facilities, so we've added on, and it makes it a great success.
Yeah, that's been a remarkable partnership for us, and it was very unique when it started
Right.
back in 2012. But it's between Wicomico, Worcester County, and Ocean City. We call it MASA, the Mid-Atlantic Amateur Sports Alliance, but that's been phenomenal for events just like this, where the capacity, both in terms of hotels and in field availability, it just exceeds what we have as far as inventory. But so we've reached out, and we have now that official partnership. So now Ocean City, Worcester benefit by hotels and people eating in their restaurants. We have games in those jurisdictions, and for these types of events which exceed, and it's worked both ways, and that's been nice. An example is a volleyball event that Ocean City started
Right.
for many years.
Right.
That began to exceed their capacity as far as space, so we hosted part of that at our Civic Center. And so it can work both ways with all the jurisdictions. You know, if you have an event that fits in your county, great. If it exceeds that and you can sell the region, and now you can sell the facilities in the region and the beach and all of the things that we have to offer collectively, for these types of events, it makes sense, and it puts you on a bigger stage and allows you to fish in bigger ponds, quite honestly, than
Right.
we would as just an individual county. Now you're looking at the region. I think it's been effective. I think it works. I think the model has proven to work, and we're seeing that now in different jurisdictions across the country where I think we were one of the trailblazers in this, but now you're starting to see that regional approach in other areas, and I think the reason is it works.
County Fair's coming up
Yes.
at Winter Place Park. Another great facility, one of those places I had no vision for. When the county wanted to buy that, I was like, what? What are they going to do with that? It's essential to everything that we do now, Winter Place Park.
It is. That's become, you know, in many ways our de facto festival grounds. We don't have a pure festival ground in the county, and that's kind of been the place where, you know, traditionally we hosted Pork in the Park, and Delmarva Bike Week spent the time there.
Right.
And now the county fair, and that county fair in the last few years has just
It's amazing.
ballooned. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a really phenomenal event, free event to the public. Lots and lots of activities. You can see it on the website, wicomicocountyfair.org. But yeah, that event, you know, many years, it was the Wicomico Farm and Home Show, and they were kind of in the carriage house and had a small footprint. And over the years now,
Right.
that has bled across the street. Now we're over into the Winter Place Park section, and
Right.
It's phenomenal. I mean, for free family entertainment, I think for us as a county, that event really makes a lot of sense just because of the ties to agriculture and the roots of the county, and it's free family fun. It's just right up our alley. So we formed a partnership a few years ago with the Farm and Home Show. So our department is very heavily invested in pulling that event off. But yeah, that'll be the third weekend in August, and we're excited. I hope it's not 100 degrees, but
It will be, like
yeah.
it was last year.
Right.
We're going to have Zach Evans on next week, talk about the
good.
details in that. But just the idea that you guys have really propped up that area, that made the carriage house, did improvements there for not a whole lot of money, made it really nice. And when you go there for that event, you just run into 100 people you know. Watching the people do stuff with the horses, it's just a great event.
Yeah, it's just a great atmosphere. I think
Yeah.
I think it's almost a throwback type event where it's just that family community kind of fun. This year they're doing, or last year I think they started a watermelon seed spitting contest.
Right.
This year they're going to have a Renaissance demonstrations and things of that nature. So Zach can fill you in on all that
Right.
those details. But yeah, it's just fun. It's just I think it just fits our community, and it's just a neat time.
Yeah.
For the community.
So much of what you do is you create the facility, and then others come in and use it. Certainly, the Shorebirds using the county facility, the fair using Winter Place Park, and the other groups. Same thing with the Civic Center. People want to blame you for a bad show at the Civic Center. It's not you. You're just renting the hall out, basically.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of pressure to operate a building like that and make it into like a business.
It is, and you know, there's not one construct as far as the events we run. In many cases, it is strict rentals.
Right.
And people assume because it's at the Civic Center, like you said, we set the ticket
Right.
prices or we set the policy, and a lot of times we're just renting the facility.
Right.
But there's different constructs, and that's one of the fun, unique things about what we do is sometimes it's rentals, sometimes there's co-promotional type opportunities. Sometimes we promote our own events and pull off our own events, like the Good Beer Festivals.
Right.
Something that our department runs from soup to nuts the entire event. So Every event is different and the constructs are different, but we're proud of the diversity and the types of events that we run, and I think there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The future of the Civic Center, there's been talk forever about privatizing it and
Right.
what to do and all that. Is it a burden on the county? Do we need to privatize it, or is it working the way it is?
I think it works, quite honestly. I think it works the way it is. There's certainly a cost to it. I just attended a training in Tampa with venue managers from across the country in Australia and Canada, from all over the world. And there's very, very, very few venues like ours that make money, that are profitable. They just are not profitable ventures. But they do add a quality of life and opportunity for people to see cultural shows, concerts, things of that nature. So there is a cost to the county. There's no doubt there's a cost. But if you look over the years, we did a chart here recently during the budget season. In the last 35 years, our operational costs have been minimal as
Right.
far as the increase. We're very efficient in that regard. What has increased over the years is salary benefits, which is across the county. So there is a cost, there's no doubt, to run a facility like that. But as far as the model goes, I think it does work. Certainly a privately run enterprise like that could have a little more flexibility than a county government. So there's arguments on both sides of that, but I think what we're producing works.
Yeah, and I think the community feel that's there.
Yeah.
With the Veterans Memorial,
Yeah.
just having the high school graduations, just having to go there for things all the time, it brings that community feel.
It does, and I think one of the other things, we also track. There's sometimes community opportunities. So a good example is the dental clinic that
Right.
happened
Oh
this
my
past
gosh,
spring.
that's amazing, isn't it?
Right. So that's
Yeah.
that's a free event,
Yeah.
and we waive the rent for that. That's just a community run event.
And there's nowhere else to have it, really.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
And our venue is great for that. We do a free backpack event, which we'll do for the second year
Right.
this year, which will equip kids with free school supplies and resources and free haircuts to
Yeah.
get them ready for the school year.
The one last year, I sent my photographer, and I was like, there might be like 10 people there, I don't know. And she called, she's like, I can't get in the door, there's so many people.
Yeah, yeah. But it's stuff like that where if that was run by a private enterprise,
Yeah.
that community type stuff,
Right.
you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. But as a county now, we can open the doors and really bring people in. And you have to charge for stuff. You can't give the thing away for everything. So we have to charge rent and our costs. But for many events with community type events like we just mentioned, I think it's important that the county open the doors, and we want to bring people out there. So we're trying to work on diversity of scheduling out there and programming to bring people out there that ordinarily may not be out there. Our youth basketball program is a great example. Last year,
Yeah.
for the first time, we ran a youth basketball program.
Right.
Had in our first year 230 kids, and a lot of families that came out there for practice. With all the improvements we've made in the inside of the Civic Center, had not even been out there for many years. So
Right.
it's neat for me to see the doors open and to really bring other people in that may not otherwise come there. And I think it's important that we do that.
And I really enjoy that Christmas tournament, that Christmas
Yeah.
basketball tournament, because
Yeah.
it's a time of year where there's not a lot to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that thing has become a monster. I mean, that's
Yeah.
now the largest holiday basketball tournament in the country. We start for years. I mean, the event started with 4 teams back in the 80s, I believe it was.
Right.
We for many years were about that 30 team, pretty much a local, and the last few years this thing skyrocketed. We're 120 teams. We're turning teams away. We got teams from California and Florida and Canada. Getting now high-profile players, where now some of our alumni that have played in the event, we're seeing now in Division I universities. In fact, one just got drafted in the NBA draft. That played here in Salisbury at the Governor's Challenge. So, and we're excited, honestly, about. Can't announce it quite yet, but we've got some exciting things coming for this year's tournament. We did get a new court. We were using an original court from that's about 40 years old. So we've got a new court this year. So people get to see that this winter at the event. So that has been phenomenal, and it's a huge hotel impact, honestly.
Right.
When you look at that time of year, you're right.
At a quiet time of year.
There's not a lot going on, and you talk to hoteliers, they're hungry for business in the wintertime, and
Right.
that's a week in the winter where we're generating roughly 700 hotel room nights for an event that the county runs. So that's phenomenal. That's why we exist. That's what we try to do.
One of the things, the feedback I get from my paper is somehow we make it look like there's a lot going on in the community with the photographs and the previews of things that are coming up. One thing we added in the last year was the recreation column, which we had in the Daily years ago. But you have a guy, Mr. Simons, who sends a thing every month to me with all the little sign-ups, all the things that are going on, and I've gotten tremendous feedback from that.
Oh, good.
So having that print element, I think, works. People, it portrays, that there's something to do. There's always something to do with your kids and something going on this weekend. So I want to thank you for that content for my paper, and I hope it promotes what goes on, because there's just so many things going on in terms of rec programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate the opportunity to do that. And I'm glad to hear that you're getting that feedback.
Yeah.
I'm still a print guy. I like to pick up a paper.
There's two of us left.
Yeah, that's right. But I like that, and I'm glad to hear that feedback. But there really is, and I think the challenge, because there is so much going on, is getting that word out and getting people's attention. That's not easy to do. People are going in a million directions, but there is a lot happening.
And you guys promote the Westside Center, which people forget. Most people don't even know it's there, but it's an essential part to that bivalve community.
Yeah.
And the events that are down there are promoted heavily, and it's a great thing. It's a great. There's after school programs. There's something to do all the time.
Yeah, we started a new pickleball program out there, and that's been popular. So. Yeah, there really is a lot happening, and I think James has done a really great job of. They kind of started that backpack event through a lot of community partnerships, so it'll be the second year for that. We started a new summer series of events in the different parks. Each Thursday night, we're going into different community parks and running free family events, and that's been a lot of fun. So there's a lot happening, and we're always excited to be able to promote that.
I'm excited at Pemberton this year. There's the Wine Festival and the Beer Festival, which just keep getting better every year.
Yeah.
Kind of changed the timing a little bit on one of them last year, so there was a Friday night element, which made it, I think, even better.
Yeah.
And you're going to have some 5K races out there this year that sound like fun.
Yeah, so the Beer Festival, we did introduce a Friday night last year, and we're going to try that again. That was kind of an experiment to see how that would go. I think it fits with that crowd.
It does.
Yeah.
And even with it being fall, somehow it's still always 90 degrees.
I know. So we're excited. This is actually the 10-year anniversary for the Beer Festival.
Wow, okay.
So we'll do the Friday night, Saturday, and we're going to experiment again with the Beer Festival with the layout. So we're going to be changing the layout a little bit, so it'll be a different look for folks, kind of shifting it down and going more towards the water.
Okay.
So it'll give a different look and feel. It's been similar for the last number of years, so we're going to try to mix that up and experiment and have a little fun with that event. But we're excited. Wine Festival will be now the 17th year.
Amazing.
For autumn wine, so that's phenomenal. That's a partnership event with the Maryland Winery Association, where we partner with them and provide the facility. But those are two phenomenal events. Those have become staples now in the fall.
Right.
And I think people really enjoy them.
And the turkey trot, I used to do that every year.
Yeah.
Back when I was thin and I could run.
Yeah.
But now there's going to be like this giant, like really big running event.
Yeah. You're talking the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. But you're doing the 24-hour.
Oh, the Pemberton 24. Yeah. If you want to run, that's a great opportunity for you.
You can run as many 5Ks as you want in 24 hours, or however that works.
Yeah. So this is a new event. So it's the Pemberton 24 is what we're calling it. It'll be the third weekend in September, but it's basically a series of 24 consecutive 5K races. So there's on the hour, every hour, there's a new 5K that starts. So you can participate in as many as you'd like. People can register as individuals or as teams. But literally around the clock, you'd be able to. So if you want to do a 3 a.m. 5K.
Well, my last 5K was about 41 minutes, so I could add 20 minutes to rest in between, I guess.
And no one will see you at 3 in the morning. So that'll be kind of a unique event. We're excited about that. There'll be camping opportunities for that if people want to stay over. But that's another unique one. So we'll see how that goes.
So tell me about this genealogy thing that you got coming up.
Yeah, so this is a new event that's been a collaboration between our tourism staff and our Civic Center staff. So it's October 19th and 20th at the Civic Center. And it's an opportunity for folks to learn more about genealogy and heritage. I kind of dipped my toe into that just on a personal level last year, and it's overwhelming, to be honest with you, just the amount of information that's out there, and you don't really know where to start if folks are interested. So we're going to have guest speakers out there. We're going to have vendors out there. There'll be different types of resources. So if people are interested in learning about genealogy, how to attack that process, heritage, we'd encourage them to check that out. That's on the Civic Center website, wicomicoCivicCenter.org. And we're excited. We think we've gotten really good feedback from the vendors that want to participate, and I think there's a segment of the population I think very interested in in researching this, and we're excited about the event.
Cool. There's only 3 guys that have had your job. You're the third in like 50 years.
Yeah. Yes, 70 some years.
70 some years.
Yeah.
What's it like? Is it fun?
I love it. I really do. I love what I do. I think part of why I love what I do is the people that I work with. We have a phenomenal team of people, and they work very hard, and I think are passionate about our mission and what we do. But for me, it comes with its fair share of headaches and problems like any job would. But I love it. I love the mission. I believe in the mission. It's fun to be able to advance these projects like Project 7.5 and Pirates Wharf, and even at Purdue Stadium, walking around that deck with the family and just seeing people enjoy that stuff.
Right.
To me, it's not about anything other than seeing people enjoy it and us fulfilling our mission. And to me, I get a kick out of that. I love to get things done, and to do that, we've got great people that advance that. But I think it's not an easy job. I will give you that. At any moment of any day,
You make it, as a reporter, you make it look easy, because people who had it before, it seemed like they were always juggling. But somehow you make it look easy.
I juggle in private, so it's not an easy job. But I will tell you again, it's because of the staff that we have that really push the things that we're doing, and I'm not, nor is anybody, anything without the team that they're surrounded with, and it's not an easy job. But one of the things I like about it is that at any moment of any day, because we're so diverse, recreation, parks, tourism, civic center, it's almost funny sometimes during the course of an hour or the course of a day, the amount of things that will come at you, and that you've got to pivot so quickly to deal with a local recreation issue, to a civic center issue, to a tourism issue, and you're pivoting all day long dealing with these types of things.
One parent has a bad experience with their kid at camp, and it could take probably your whole morning to solve that.
It could, and you just never know what's going to walk in the door. But honestly, I like that, because the days and the weeks go by quickly. I love to be busy and get things done. And this job, I can tell you, there's not downtime as far as that goes.
Right.
There's always something happening, and I love that part. So I do love what I do, and I love the mission. I think it's a worthwhile mission, and I think we're proud to be able to deliver that to the citizens. We want the citizens to enjoy it, and I think one of the things we've done through Pirates Wharf as an example, and the Parker Project, is tried to reach out as best we can to the community and hear people's feedback, and we're always open to hear that type of thing. But
Right, that would be my next question. What can we do to help you do your job? What do you need from us as citizens?
I think certainly promotion always helps in spreading the word about the things that are happening. I think sometimes that's a challenge. We get lost in the noise of everything that's happening. So certainly spreading the word about the facilities or programs or events that are happening is always helpful. But the constructive feedback, I think, a lot of times, even within our own staff, I preach to our staff, if no one speaks up, if no one says something, we may not know. And so sometimes problems aren't addressed because we simply don't know that there's a problem. And so, we encourage people, if there's a problem at a park or a trail or there's an issue, bring it to our attention. And to the best of our ability, as we have resources, we will address the issues that come forward, and we'll listen to people. We may not always have the same conclusions or agree on everything, but I think there's an openness to listen and to hear people's ideas, and then we'll do the best we can to be good stewards.
He's Steve Miller. He's the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism for Wycomico County. He's got a hard job. He makes it look easy. Thanks for being here today, Steve.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and One-on-One. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.